I'd like to introduce Helen, who's one of the faith minister and spiritual counsellor. She's going to explore with us, I think, if I know Helen, the reality of the mystical. Helen, thank you.
Thank you. It's really great to be able to do something this afternoon. I'm going to just talk a little bit, tell you a little about myself, and there'll be a time for you to share, and then I'd like to finish with a guided meditation, if that's okay. That's appropriate. The title, The Reality of the Mystical, quite a challenge, bit of a paradox there, probably. Yes. I looked at mystical and came up with two definitions. One was conjunction with the absolute, and the other was spiritual meaning is unknown or unclear. And I can identify with both of those definitions, and that's true for me. But I thought I'd like to show you my spectacles this afternoon, my misty spectacles. It felt very appropriate for the subject we're talking about. I think, and as people have already mentioned it today, we see the world through our own perspective, and it's a misty one. Let me explain what is an acronym, as you might have guessed, for MIST. Let me explain it. Sorry, very effective, it's not paper. So, the M is matter, and we thought to keep, we both talked about science and the culture, particularly in the Western world, of this very, well, I would say, limited view of the world through the scientific perspective. But we believe what our senses tell us. We've also talked about today, not surprisingly, we've talked about all of these, haven't we? Individuality. It's interesting that in the East they have this much stronger awareness of connection. But our ego sense of self. Our ego is a sense of separateness. That's what the ego is in many ways. It needs to be for us to operate in the world, so we need it. But it causes us so many problems, as Michelle was alluding to from the Course in Miracles stuff. The fact that we feel separate because we are individuals. And then space and time. The photography talked a little bit about that as well, space and take photographs like space and time. So I'm going to take my misty spectacles off because I can't see very well. Just to tell you a bit about myself. I believe that I probably always felt there was something more than the world around me from when I was really tiny. It's certainly what I was taught, because I was brought up in a Swedenborgian Christian church, which uses the writings of the mystics in the Swedenborg, you may have heard of them, you may not have heard. So I was always taught that there was more to life than just what we see around us. Then I think my first mystical experience was probably when I was a teenager, and I used to play the organ for the Sunday evening service in my church. And not many people came along to that. And there was this really amazing atmosphere, and I used to be sat sort of on my own, in a sense, on the organ stool, and just felt this atmosphere that was there in the building, and experienced a really deep sense of peace. And I was only a teenager, and I could just tell this was something special. It wasn't what I'd do normally every day, going to school and whatnot. I was very happy with having some understanding of what my life was about through these ideas that came through Manuel Swedenborg, that the foundation of life was this love, wisdom, as he calls it, this force of love, wisdom that is the creative force in life. And that our purpose, if you like, is to transform from this separate ego self back to this connection to who we truly are, this love, wisdom. But I discovered that just having these ideas wasn't sufficient for me. My soul was yearning for more. I needed to have the experience of it, basically. And for me, this is what the mystical path is. It's having the experience of this connection. So I went off looking at lots of other religions, Native Americans, Buddhism, yoga, Hinduism, yeah. So and that's probably why I became an interfaith minister, because it spoke to me. But it was through doing the spiritual practices from lots of different traditions that I really, was able to develop and feel more and more this connection with my true self.
Can I ask you what you mean by your spiritual practices, or you took generally? Is that okay to ask?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm just going to ask you a question actually. Just going to suggest that you do this. Tell me what your connections are. But you want to know what my spiritual practices are?
Yeah, if that's okay.
Yeah, I have a range of different ones. So before I tell you what I do, I'm going to ask you to turn to your partner or somebody next to you, or threesome if there's three of you, and just share if you think you've ever had, because I'm sure you've all had some sort of mystical experience. If what would help you to have that sense of connection to who you truly are, to feel really peaceful. It could be things like walking in the country, but we all have different things, don't we, that really connect us. So would you like to have a couple of minutes just chatting to the person about what it is? If you think you've had an experience, what it is.
It's okay, I just need a
I'm just going to throw in here, going out looking at the stars, like, wow, particularly when we were in quite well, you really see the stars, the sky, spending time with my dog, I don't check I'm just remembering
Hey, would you like to just finish off? Here and now, the response rather than reaction. Thank you. It'd be lovely to hear if anybody would like to share with the whole group, if you have any. It'd be lovely if anybody would like to share anything that you've been talking about.
Are you okay, Bridget? Well, one of the things was the here and now.
Yeah.
Being
Being
in
in the now.
the here and now. There's lots of others, but that was
Thank you.
This is a long time ago when I was practicing as a midwife, and I got the unenviable task of staying with somebody whose baby had died in utero, and seeing her through to the delivery of the baby. And we were there a long time, and I was just stood with my hand on her abdomen, talking to her, loving her as best I could, giving her semi. After about quite a few minutes, maybe half an hour, she said, "This baby's kissing me." I said, "Well, you know, it might just be a feeling. We'll just wait and see." Anyway, to cut a long story short, eventually, about an hour later, she was delivered of a live baby by cesarean section.
It's a miracle, not that.
I don't think it was anything to do with me. I just think it was, I don't know.
Special experience.
Yeah, it was quite a big
Yeah, I was saying, like, for me, like, coming into that mystical experience is, like, actually letting go of a lot of ideas, a lot of beliefs, a lot of things we've been taught to come into it. You have to sink into the silence, you know, and the peace.
Can you hear? Sink into the silence and the peace, letting go of our thinking. Yeah, my experience is beyond thought. That's the title of today, isn't it? It's not in our head. It's beyond thought. And it's something about the unknown, isn't there, as well? The unknowingness, just not knowing.
Well, first of all, we started on the last show, Remembering Nature. But I guess that is bringing in the element of, I don't know, when you get so relaxed in nature and in woods and the birds singing that you just don't think anymore. But then we started connecting it to everything else, and I guess it's all areas where we just stopped thinking and just started being.
I think there is a direct connection, I believe, and feel that direct connection with nature as well. It's all part of this creation, isn't it? So there is something speaking to us directly, I think, to nature as well. I find, walking in nature is very special to connect to Do you want to, you were asking me what my spiritual practice is.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Very quickly, how so many. Walking in nature, yes, meditating, being grateful, and just trying to be mindful and in and out as much as possible. Anytime, what I've been working on the last couple of years is to really notice my feelings more. And when I notice my feelings are not how I would hope they would be, not congruent, just breathing, using my breath is so helpful for me, and that brings me back to my center and my true self, and change.
And this tuning in, as in tuning into your intuition, rather than your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's just tuning into the being of your intuition.
Yeah. I believe it's the one. I think we talked about
It's
that
the
this
one.
morning.
Yeah.
All the thoughts.
Yeah.
It's this unconscious, the universal human mind. I quite like that expression of the universal human mind. Yeah. So I believe that there's something within us, all of us, calling us back to this connection to where we came from, probably. But of course, a lot of people aren't awake to it. I wanted to read you a poem before we do the meditation. This is a poem, written by a rabbi and professor of Jewish mysticism in the US called Abraham Heschel, I think it's pronounced. And I just love, he uses an image of the sea and a seashell. I just think this is so beautiful. The search of reason ends at the shore of the known. On the immense expanse beyond it, only the sense of the ineffable can glide. It, that's the ineffable, alone knows the route to that which is remote from experience and understanding. Neither of them is amphibious. Reason cannot go beyond the shore, and the sense of the ineffable is out of place where we measure and weigh. We do not leave the shore of the known in search of adventure or suspense. We sail because our mind is like a fantastic seashell, and when applying our ear to its lips, we hear a perpetual murmur from the waves beyond the shore. Citizens of two realms, we all must sustain a dual allegiance. We sense the ineffable in one realm, and we name and exploit reality in another. Between the two, we set up a system of references, but we can never fill the gap. They are as far and as close to each other as time and calendar, as violin and melody, as life and what lies beyond the last breath. That really spoke to me about this beyond spirit. So we've got the paradox that this universal human mind, life, God, divine, whatever word we use for it, by its nature it's unknowable, and yet because it's all that there is, it's there within us. Like Michelle was saying, you know, we've got the divine is in us, so we do know it. We can experience it. We can all be mystics in that sense. I'm going to invite you, if you'd like to join me in a short guided meditation, which is going to be connecting through our breath and this sense of birthing, this birthing of divine love consciousness and this interconnection of everything. Well, they're not most comfortable. So you it might be helpful, perhaps not to have your back against the fabric. Your eyes closed and your feet firmly on the ground. Become aware of your body. Your bottom sat on your chair. Feel any tension in your shoulders, and as you breathe out, allow those shoulders to relax. And then take your attention to your breath. Notice your breath as it goes in through your nostrils and out again. Just breathe normally, but just notice the breath that's breathing your body, going in and out. And now imagine that you're being supported in a warm, womb-like darkness. The nurturing mother love is holding you, keeping you safe, loving you. There's nothing you need to be doing. Just enjoy this feeling of gently being held in this quiet darkness. This is the darkness of the infinite, unknowable, beyond our comprehension. When you are held in complete unconditional love. words from the Vedas. The One was breathing by its own power in infinite peace. Only the One was. There was nothing beyond, and in the One there arose love, the first seed of the soul. And now I'm going to invite you in your imagination to come from this unknowable warm darkness into the light, the embodiment of the divine love. Just imagine a sea of sparkling white light in front of you, and behind you, and all around you. And then see your own body in the middle of this vastness, gently rising up like a wave of light. As it rises and falls, bless your body. And now notice all the other sparkling lights on this white sea of light. You are all interconnected, dancing in this infinite sea. They are all in you, and you in them. We are all made from the same substance. This is the creation of your soul. And now imagine in the very center of your body that there is this strong light emerging. And as you breathe out, send this sparkling light from your center down your torso, into your bottom, down your legs and out through your feet. Feel the bottom half of your body being filled and energized with this sparkling, life-giving force. On your next out-breath, send this light up into your chest, your heart center, down your arms and out through your fingertips. Your whole body energized and enlivened by this light. And on your next out-breath, send this light, which may be silvery, may be golden, up from your center, up your spine and neck and into your head. Allow it to fill your brain. Kiss awake your mouth, your ears, your nose, and your eyes. And then allow this light to move out through the crown of your head. Your whole body is now vibrating and unified by this light. The divine in our physical body, the presence of the heart at the core of the mind. Your soul is limitless, powerful beyond measure, when open to this divine love and wisdom. Give thanks in your heart for this. Now, very gently, bring yourself back into the room, into the space, and open your eyes. Move your body, stretch. Circulation going. Anything? We've got some time left?
Pretty much finished.
Finished, okay.
Thank you, Helen.